This is where we would like to welcome the head of training at the International Maritime Employees Council, which is IMEC, for an engaging session that will be titled IMEC India, Chart Your Course, Indian Mariners for Tomorrow, Cadet Program Update. Well, IMEC, renowned for its commitment to maritime workforce development, plays a pivotal role in shaping industry standards and practices. Today, we have the unique opportunity to interact directly with the IMEC representatives and gain valuable insights into their initiatives and perspectives on maritime training, and particularly employment, particularly focused on cadet program updates in India. Without further ado, I invite Gale to the stage to lead us through the entire enlightening session, and have your questions and engagements were obviously highly encouraged. Together with Rob, I would also like to invite on stage Captain Sankalp Shukla, India IMEC representative and chairman FOSMA. Please join us on stage, Captain. Captain Shiv Halbe, CEO MASSA, and Captain Dr. Shashank Jahagirdar, IMEC Recruitment and Training Committee member, and IMEC Training Committee member. Also joining them on stage, we have Debarati Bhatta. Can we all have you on stage? Ladies and gentlemen, the panel that will lead us through an engagement led by Gale.
Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, I've had already a wonderful time here in Goa. First of all, I just want to say a quick thank you to Shukla and the Naval Connection for putting this event together. I've learned already so much, and hopefully we can provide you now with a bit of an update from our side at IMEC. I know we're running late on time, so I'll be as brief as I can. But really, I want to talk about our journey in India with IMEC, and hopefully after I've provided a brief presentation, you can ask some questions for our panel here to learn more about what we do. So I'm going to talk about who we are for those who are unaware who IMEC is. Also, thank you, we'll talk about what IMEC actually represents and what we bring. And I'll talk about the status of the cadet program, where we currently are in 2024, and then some more information as well. So, just to briefly, for those in the room who are unaware who IMEC is, we are an NGO, we're a non-governmental organisation, and we're not-for-profit, and we're the leading maritime employers organisation. As of 2024, we currently have 279 of the world's largest and smallest ship owners, operators, and crew managers. There are some in the room who are part of IMEC, and that group, that family that we're building continues to expand, which is incredibly exciting. What do? We represent our members' interests in a number of different ways. We do that through industrial relations. We do that through our collaborative partnership with the International Transport Workers Federation through a process called the IBF, which is a forum in which we discuss and negotiate workers' pay and conditions on board, which is one of our primary kind of pieces of work that we do. But also we have a training side. We have a training department which is run by myself, and that primarily focuses on cadet training programs around the world. So we have a cadet training program in the Philippines. This is now in its 16th year. We have graduated over 1,800 fantastic, bright young seafarers of the future. But also in the last year, we've started programs in other areas of the world. So we have a program, which I'll talk about more, with India, but also in South Africa. Not only that, but we focus on other training as well. So we focus on the full maritime ecosystem. We provide training for shoreside workers. So in the last couple of years, we've done training initiatives on training instructors and lecturers for the future seafarers. But then also we provide training for ratings in the Philippines. And also we've recently started in the last year a fitter training program in India. What does IMEC represent? I wanted to give a very short, brief set of bullet points into what we feel at IMEC is important to us. As I mentioned, we're not for profit. there is no profit making for us. The money that we take from our members goes straight back into seafarers. That is a really important point to highlight. We are sustainable in our cadet training program, and what does that mean? What that means is those IMEC members that are part of our process, they will request a number of cadets for us per year in each of those countries, and then we will train no more and no less. We never over-subscribe, we never do that. That's not part of the IMEC ethos. Secondly, we invest in the workforce of tomorrow, as I mentioned earlier, with some of the training initiatives that we do. We provide seafarers and cadets, and also those in industry, with a voice. We're very collaborative, we're very engaging, we're always hoping to look at finding ways to improve the industry. We pride ourselves in promoting diversity in the maritime industry. Last year, we established our own DEI policy, and not only that, but in our recruitment and training committee, we also established a working group focused on improving working conditions and diversity in the maritime industry. As I said before, with our cadet program in the Philippines, we have a rich history in maritime training. This is not our first rodeo, as we say in the UK. And as I said earlier, we invest heavily in the entire maritime training ecosystem. We don't just focus on cadet training, we focus on broadening the skill set of all of the seafarers and mariners, whether it's shoreside or at sea. So, let's just take a step back and talk about what happened last year when we brought our cadet training program into India. The reason why we started that last year is because there's been a huge demand for industry expertise and providing allocated berths for seafarers and cadets in India. So what happened last year in March, myself and the CEO, Francesco, we visited India with the recommendation of FOSMA and MASSA for 5 institutions to review and to select from that a number of institutions to start the program with. From that, we were delighted to select TS Rahman, HIMT in Chennai, and also METI in CSL in Cochin. From that, last year, we selected and interviewed 41 cadets that are part of our intake for last year. So we're starting small, but slowly we're bringing the right ingredients to marinate those cadets for the future of the industry. We have 25 deck cadets and 16 engine cadets. Just moving on to what the cadetship actually involves. Just very briefly, for the deck cadets, they're studying a diploma in nautical science. That's a 4-year program, and within that program, that incorporates the sea time element in order for them to take their certificate of competency examination. The cadets are sponsored from an RPSL licensed member as standard from the very beginning. That's very important. That's one of the things that we wanted to do when we start any cadet training program around the world. Our cadets start at the very beginning with a member and a ship to go to for their entire cadetship. FOSMA and MASSA also, before the cadets take their first ship, they will also provide a brief training which provides more information about preparation for going to sea. For us, that's really important. On our engine side, these cadets that were selected are already mechanical engineers, qualified, but they're undertaking a marinization now to become marine engineers. So this program is a 2.5-year program, and cadets again are sponsored through RPSL licensed IMEC members. One of the things that I want to highlight as well, we've learned a lot of lessons from 2023, and we're trying to incorporate that into 2024. So what do I mean by that? There is additional training value-added courses that we're looking to provide for those cadets so that we don't just provide them with a standard cadetship program, we're looking to make them future leaders of tomorrow, whether that's cultural training, whether that's leadership training, and we're looking to hopefully provide some announcements on that in the future. But all of this that we've done from last year and what we're doing this year and into the future can't be done without a lot of our partners. As you can see on our screen, there are so many that have helped us already with this process, and I'm sure that in the future we'll have also many more partners to help us on this journey. So one thing I just wanted to do very quickly, I won't highlight them all by name, but if you're part of one of these memberships or you're also an IMEC member or cadet, if you can please just stand up in front of me so I can see how many of you are actually part of this journey with us. Please stand up. So those in the room, if you look around, you can see that actually this whole journey that IMEC is looking to create is a family. And actually, as you can see, almost half of the room is actually standing. So more than half of the room. So this is not just an IMEC initiative. This actually is focusing on all of the expertise across of India. So thank you all so much for all of your hard work in helping us create this cadet program. With that, really, I just want to wrap up, but we have some of our experts and some of our partners who are here, part of this program, and also I'm here to answer any of your questions. So please, I think there's some microphones that perhaps we can hand around the room, and if anyone has any questions. First of all, actually, Shiv, Sankalp, Shashank and Debarati, if there's anything you'd like to add to the work that we're doing in this cadet program.
Good morning and good morning to some and good afternoon to some. Some of us have had a very early morning, so we are heading into the afternoon for us. Regarding the IMEC program, it all started actually in 2022 when we were at the IMEC AGM, and there was this effort to promote seafarers or to find seafarer pools in different parts of the world to meet the IMEC members' requirement. And the thought occurred that, have you looked at India? And they said, oh, but India does its own thing. We said, no, but we do it for IMEC members. I mean, at the end of the day, the people, the boys and girls who go on board, a number of them are joining our member lines. So there was a thought and it kicked off. The initial target was actually to take 40 deck and 40 engineer, but as Rob rightly pointed out, we were a little slow off the blocks and we had some initial hurdles which we did not anticipate when we went on such a collective exercise. But it finally settled down, and I think this year we should meet or exceed the target and make the program grow. And the underlying thing to this effort was our MIV 2030, which talks of growth of Indian seafarers from the current level to another level, which is supposed to be 20% of the global number. Now, it's not going to happen unless we bring in new people. That's the only way it will grow. Moving from one side to the other is not going to make it grow. Maybe make them more employable, but not make the numbers grow. So this is a small step, and many of us will need to work with the government how to get their buy-in to change these numbers, to change these numbers. We'll leave it at that. Change these numbers and see where it goes. Thank you.
Yeah, Rob, I think we need to specially thank MUI. Where is Captain Pradhan? Thank you, sir, for your support. Thank you very much. And also thank ISF. Pawan, thank you so much for the support that we've got.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. So just to add what Rob has mentioned, I think we need to collectively create awareness, make IMEC program more visible so that more and more members show interest, because naturally you have seen the first year pilot project, the number is less. We need to increase that to probably triple digit and see how we can make full use of India cadet program. Just to share with you, recently I was part of IMEC delegation where we visited South America. So clearly there is a shortage of manpower, which all of us we know, and I think India is a place where we can increase seafarers number. We have Tandon sir, he is ex IMEC chairman, so definitely India is place where we can increase seafarers number and probably bridge that gap of shortage of manpower. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. It's a great opportunity being a junior engineer to work with IMEC. Thanks IMEC for giving me this opportunity. What I felt while working and interacting with the cadets and everybody, the cadets who are not sponsored by IMEC, still people are aware of MASSA, people are aware of Anglo-Western, but people are not aware of IMEC. what IMEC is, how IMEC works. So that is one thing we are creating awareness, and this awareness will, I think so, this will attract many more young generations to come up in Merchant Navy. How much we are advancing, but Merchant Navy till now, it's not that career that people are aware of very well, that what Merchant Navy is and how people work on it. So I think this is one of the greatest things that we can do through IMEC, and looking forward to work with IMEC many more.
Thank you. And so with that, I want to open it up to the floor. So please, if anyone has any questions, don't be shy. I'm sure we can get a microphone to someone. Does anyone have any questions? Stunned silence.
I can kick it off while everyone gives it a thought. But the question is, I think the program is great, and I really hope that it grows even more. But the question for you is, what's next for IMEC in India? Is there something else in the pipeline that you're looking at, or we keep it at this level for now?
No, that's a really good question, and an IMEC member question, so I appreciate that. So ultimately, our goal with cadet programs around the world is to provide more seafarers for the industry. As Shiv rightly put, there's been reports and statistics in the industry that there's a shortage of seafarers, and that actually is growing year on year. And so for us, whilst sustainably, we're hoping for more expansion. Just as I said before, the numbers this year for the Philippines is actually we're taking an intake of 260. So our hope and our goal is for India to be something similar. We want to have a 15, 20, 25-year program in India. And not only that, as I mentioned before, with NUSI and NOTI, we also have a fitter program which is taking IMEC member ratings and trying to train them to become fitters. So we look at the whole ecosystem, and India for me is such a great opportunity. There is fantastic regulation from the DG of Shipping, who's very proactive, and the cadets, as I've met over the last year, are fantastic. And so the opportunity really for me is huge in India. That's why IMEC is here. Yes, and yeah, sorry, thanks Sankalp for reminding me. Not only have we already started that program on marine fitters, but actually we're looking at other training providers like METI, who also provide a structural marine fitter that hopefully can help our IMEC members, because essentially our members every year tell us the issues with the industry, and one of those was there is also a lack of fitters. And so we've done our best year on year to provide our members with what they need. Ultimately, that's the goal that IMEC does. We're collaborative, we engage internationally, and we do the hard work so you guys don't have to. But yeah, any other questions? Rajesh, please.
Thank you. Good morning, and I'd just like to re-endorse what Shiv Halbe said. I mean, India has a history of about 2,000 to 2,500 cadets intakes each year, with all the responsible companies and others doing the recruitment. What we don't want to see is that shift from their initiatives that they do internally as companies, and we got Maersk and Bernard Schulte and several others over here, Anglo-Eastern, who have their very robust training programs. What we need to ensure is that you don't move some of your positions from there to there. And I think IMEC needs to work very hard on reaching out to the ship owners who are not yet recruiting in India, and start from the scratch, build up their pool of Indian officers if it has to be a meaningful success. Thank you.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Rajesh. And actually, one of the reasons why we decided to come into India was not purely just for switching numbers from one member to another. And in fact, the conversations that we had last year when we created the Memorandum of Understanding and Agreement was so that our members who do take more seafarers and more cadets from India are doing that in addition to the numbers that are already coming out from India per year. We want to provide a net plus, not a net an equal number. So that's very, very important for us. It's a very important point. Any other questions?
Yeah, Rob,
Yes.
Debuya. Yes, I wanted to ask the same question, that what's different that IMEC is doing from what already India has been doing so far?
Yeah, perfect.
You talked about the deck cadet program, the engine cadet program that we are already running. And it's the same program where you're putting your cadets in. But now that I hear the fitters program, I think that's different. And that's a good initiative which we need to further enlarge upon. and any other new programs that IMEC is thinking of, which is not currently running when we talk of future skills. What would IMEC be doing for future skills? Thank you.
No, thank you so much. And just to reiterate, I'm part of a two-person training department in IMEC, so my resources are quite limited. But what we have done so far is, as I mentioned, just to give a bit more detail on the fitter program. So essentially, these are 3 or 4 courses that can run per year for our IMEC members. They essentially look at the seafarers that are on board that are in the rating position, who are interested in becoming prospective fitters, and we take them through a 6-week process at the Notai facility in India, and they go through all of the existing training that you would expect, whether it's lathe, whether it's welding, up to 3G levels, and also actually they can also harbour and support training after those 6 weeks up to 6G levels if necessary, and that is a class-approved maritime training provider. So that's one of the initiatives in addition to the cadet program. But I just want to go back to the cadet program, because for me, what's really important is we don't just allow those cadets to get the studying that they take from their institutions, which for me is fantastic, but actually that we provide more. So as I said, one of the things that we've done in the Philippines so heavily and so wonderfully is that we've provided such value-added training, whether that's cultural, behavioral, leadership training, whether that is mindfulness. We are trialing an application currently in the Philippines, which for all of our cadets is available, which provides them with breathing exercises, yoga, meditation, ways in which they can prepare for a life at sea. That is currently on trial with cadets shoreside, and also currently on trial with our cadets at sea. And we're getting a lot of data and a lot of information. In addition to that, we also run many other training courses which provide more added value. We look at critical thinking, because for me that's also one of the really important ingredients when you look at seafarers of the future. What they can, their ability to actually understand why they're doing their job. For us, that's so very important. So just to highlight, we're constantly looking at ways in which we can evolve our cadet programs to make sure that those cadets are the best that goes out to the market, essentially. Any other questions at all?
Can I add something? Captain Debu, your question that you asked is absolutely valid, as usual. But the IMEC is a member-driven organization, and their resources or secretariat is hardly half a dozen people. So we have IMEC has a training committee, the man sitting here, part of the committee. So we need to go out to them to tell them what we want and what is the future. They cannot look in a crystal ball. So we need to drive them to the future, not they will drive us to the future. That's one. The second thing is, I think, Rob, you probably overlooked telling them about the training for trainers course run by the Solent, which was a very popular one, a small one, but a very popular. Is it still running?
No, unfortunately from last year it finished, okay, but yeah, it was very successful. I touched on it very briefly. Yeah. This was teaching instructors and lecturers around the world, which was an IMEC initiative that was completely free for IMEC members and those involved in training institutions to understand a bit more about new styles of teaching, new styles of learning, and the pedagogies that are around how you teach your students of the future. So absolutely, we're always looking at the whole ecosystem, not just seafarers, but shoreside. Sankalp.
Yeah, Rob, I think it'll be also good to mention what we are planning for this year for the R&D committee meet that we're having in May.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, add on to the list of things that we do at IMEC. So as Sankalp mentioned, and as Shashank has highlighted, he's a member of our Recruitment and Training Committee. This is a committee which I am secretariat for, and essentially these are 10 or 11 of our IMEC members and those that are crew managers or crew directors that are really closely linked with maritime training within the industry, the heartbeat, the pulse of the industry. What they do, we sit together and we go over all of the issues that are currently important in the industry. As I mentioned before, diversity, maritime labour supply, decarbonisation, autonomous shipping, digitalisation, well-being. These issues are discussed at the R&T level, and then what actually happens is we come up with a list of action points, and then that focuses our work for the year. And so that's just a brief kind of intro into what we do with the Recruitment and Training Committee. I see another hand at the back, please. Microphone?
similar, where we can do similar upscaling programs. We can do similar upscaling programs for the IMEC selected boys with respect to critical thinking, design thinking, etc. And the old trainers can be considered.
Absolutely, and yes, I did hear the beginning, 2017 as an IMEC member with work in the Philippines, so thank you very much for your support. And really what's just important to point, it's, you know, men and women in this industry have a great opportunity and we need to work harder for that. But absolutely, you're spot on. How I see India for us in IMEC is for this program to become as popular and as expanded as the Philippines. At the same time, as I mentioned in my slide earlier, one really important thing that we focus on heavily here in IMEC is sustainability. We don't want to accelerate at a pace we cannot sustain, and equally, we don't want to employ or recruit seafarers or cadets that do not end up going on our members' vessels. It's really important for us that they go from their beginnings straight into our IMEC members and stay for the long term. We're looking to train the future master mariners of tomorrow, the future chief engineers of tomorrow, those electro-technical officers of tomorrow. This is a whole ecosystem and one big family that we're trying to push. Shukla, I don't know how we're doing for time. Is there room for any more questions, or should we leave it there? 5 minutes. So yeah, 5 more minutes of our time, please.
Morning, Rob, and morning to everyone. Quick question for you is, last year you had a target of 80, 40 each on deck and engine. We struggled down to 41. So what is your target for this year? Secondly, when is the program starting? And the other important thing is, once these cadets are inducted, they pass out, is it again guaranteed that they will be placed as junior officers in the same companies?
No, thank you. It's a really important question. So as you mentioned, 41 was our number last year from 2023, and some of those cadets are in the room today, so please, when you get an opportunity, have a chat with them, speak with them. This year, we're hoping, as was the target last year, 80 cadets. We don't want to run before we can walk, so we want 80 cadets, which means 40 deck, 40 engine, and then we'll go from there, and we'll continue learning. This is a pilot phase still for this cadet program. And the hope is absolutely that those cadets will take future employment with our IMEC members that have invested heavily in providing their sea time from the very beginning. Whilst I can't guarantee, because I don't want to promise something that I cannot guarantee, but I'm very hopeful, and we've seen this in South Africa, we've seen this in the Philippines, that our cadets that go through those members start their journey, they understand the ethos of the company, and so the whole plan is for our members to retain them all the way up through their senior ranks. So absolutely, that's the plan. Thank you.
Maybe I can, Rob, I can add to what you say. Yes, so as Tandon sir rightly mentioned, the intention behind this program was to attract member lines who are predominantly not recruiting from India so far. So we want to, get more and more companies to come to India, whether it is to do with Russia-Ukraine conflict or number is not coming up from Philippines. But there is definitely a good focus on India presently, and intention is to capitalize on that and increase the number from India.
Yeah, and just to go further on that, Shashank, and not one to highlight how much running around I do every year, but we run local members meetings in different countries where our IMEC membership is. Last year we were advertising the India program to Greece, into Cyprus, where a lot of our members are, and also in the Philippines also. So every cadet program we have, we push that information out to all of our 279 members so that they have the opportunity to take more cadets in every country, including India. So yeah. Please.
Yeah, I was looking at Captain Tushar Pradhan's query. So these cadets will be completing their complete cadetship time on that particular company. That's the program.
Sorry, can you reduce
the cadets will complete
a little bit lower? Sorry, I can't hear you very well.
The cadets will complete their complete cadetship in that particular company, membership company.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So actually, every IMEC cadet program across the world, we we carry out a recruitment process. So as I talked with our partnership with ISF, we carry out psychometric testing. We also carry out competency testing, and then they go through an interview process with our members. What happens then is that once they're selected, those cadets will go from the first day that they start in that institution. They will be IMEC member cadets. They're sponsored completely from the beginning until they take their OOW license.
Okay, so coming back to Captain Tushar's query, no company would like to leave their cadets once they clear their second mate or whatever, a fourth class certificate. So Captain Tushar, I don't think any cadet has to worry once they clear their further exams. Company will employ them for sure.
In fact, it's the other way around. The company would be scared that after they finish their cadetship, they should not leave.
Please, yes.
So I have a follow-up question, Rob, not from here, but from something which was asked earlier. There's been a mention that we should bring this up grounds up. So what percentage of the IMEC membership does not currently employ cadets or build up a cadet program from India?
From India?
Yes.
I think last year we had a total of 9 or 10 IMEC members that were involved in the India program. And just for benchmarking, in the Philippines, we have about 22. So actually, for a first-year program, I'm incredibly proud of the involvement of our IMEC members in India for the first year, and we hope that that will continue to grow year on year. So hopefully that answers your question.
Can I add to that? Arun, there are a lot of members that do not use Indian cadets, especially the Greek ownership. That is why, in fact, last year, Rob had gone down to Greece because now there has been quite a bit of buy-in from Greek owners to start using Indian seafarers, maybe because of the shortage of seafarers, Russia-Ukraine conflict going on. And I was asked also to go there to represent India over there, but unfortunately it was the day of Diwali. And if I'd gone there, I couldn't come back to India, so my choice was to stay here.
Yeah, and just finally to come back on that, the number 279 might be a little bit misleading. I'm one part of IMEC. My boss, Francesco, who covers IBF negotiations, collective bargaining agreements, our members are not always requesting cadets. So it's actually a small portion of the IMEC membership, about 50 to 60 members that are involved in our IMEC cadet training programs. We do so much more. So actually, in terms of a number, it's about 20%, 10-20% of IMEC membership that is involved in our cadet programs, which for me is fantastic. So hopefully that answered your question.
Fair, thank you.
Thank you. And I think that's enough for us. I think that's enough time. So what I want to do is thank you all for listening. Hopefully I didn't put you to sleep. And thank you very much to our representatives on board on the stage. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I just remain on the stage. I would like to have on stage to give a small round of appreciation. I'd like to call upon Mr. Girish Fadnis. Yes. And also Captain Jay Kumar to join us on stage. However, at this point, I would like to also welcome with us, in our presence, we have the Director General of Shipping, Shri Shyam Jagannathan. So welcome to our forum at FSM. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm round of applause to welcome our Director General of Shipping. In the meanwhile, yes, Mr. Girish Fadnis and Captain Jay Kumar join us as we felicitate our esteemed guests on the stage.